Hey everybody, it's Chainsaw Reacts back. Once again, another reaction for you guys. Take guys, of course, we are continuing Wolverine and the X-Men. This is Season 1, Episode 5, Thieves Gambit. That title, Thieves Gambit, pretty much implies Gambit showing up. I mean, watch it be red herring. It's not even true. Like, he's not showing up at all. It's just a trick or whatever. Probably not, but anyways, I'm excited for this episode. I'm really enjoying the show so far. It is so good. I like the fact that it had I wouldn't say fake opening, but they had this opening in the very beginning, of course, with Wolverine apparently leaving the X-Mansion. He was leaving. And then it cuts to a year later after this explosion, and we're still learning about that. We find Professor X in Part 3 of Hindsight Part 3, and Episode 3, and he wakes up 20 years in the future. I think it was 20 years. He was like a long time in the future, and the X-Men need to form to stop this from happening. And then the last episode, the Storm episode, Overflow, which I still like that title, by the way, Overflow. She's been tricked by Shadow King. And so they have to go, travel, and to stop her because Africa's not being destroyed by something. It's because of her. And Professor X gives Wolverine the mission to say, this is something we need to prevent. Because if this happens, then then the timeline is gonna stay the same essentially. So I wonder if we're gonna see a change in Professor X's timeline now because that was prevented. Because they stopped Storm from destroying Africa because she's being tricked by Shadow King into thinking that all these people's homes and things were on fire. So she was like, all the storms, all that kind of stuff, and hail and rain and everything, and it was flooding, and she was actually destroying, nothing was happening. She was destroying it on her own because she was being tricked. So I'm wondering if we're going to see a change in the timeline now in Professor X's future because of that. Who knows? But I'm really excited because I like the time travel aspect of it because it's definitely interesting. They could have easily created a story here that didn't involve time traveling and jumping ahead a year and this mystery explosion. Then Professor X wakes up 20 years in the future. They could have done something else entirely, but I like the fact they went this direction. So let's get into now, guys. Episode 5, Thieves Gambit. Let's go. What is up with that power? Like lava something? Leaves a trail, unfortunately. Holy shit. Oh my god. What's that? What is that?
That's it. It shuts down mutant powers.
And you want us to take it from the X-Men?
They're like, that's not possible.
Yeah, well, good luck. Can you afford me?
Okay, this is how he comes in. I'm like, okay, there's a Thieves Guild.
Please, let me keep it.
Would, but unfortunately it ain't healthy to wear it too long.
Okay.
Okay.
The MRD chased that poor girl into a populated area. Why? Oh, so everyone could see a mutant putting the public in danger.
Point. That's why they did it. Katie wearing Katie shirt. Makes sense. He's the only one not sleeping.
Best here, Charles. I really am. There are kids out there who are struggling with their powers. And I just can't help them like you could.
We're seeing all these people. We're seeing people going to bed. We're seeing Wolverine talking to Logan there. Logan talking to Wolverine. What? Wolverine talking to Professor X? Can't fucking think. So I guess Gambit's gonna sneak in. He snuck in with nobody noticing except for him, but it was too late.
This transaction never happened.
Oh, it happened.
They never do.
Are you sure what's in there is money and shit? Could be explosives.
We have the call.
Thank you, Miss Zane. You may proceed as planned. So who has it?
I didn't get her name. But she may have given me a card. Ah, yes. Oh, no, sorry. It's one of mine.
Dang. Careful. Jesus. Just causing explosions everywhere.
You still sold out your kind for a little cash.
Absolutely no. I sold out my kind for a large amount of cash. There is a difference.
Hey, at least he's honest.
This cash. Rule number 2 of the Thieves Guild. Always know your customers.
I mean, point. Like how he knows that. Rule number 2, you know everybody.
Actually got it.
Of course. And I want to be updated on your progress. In the meantime, I'll be checking the status of your other projects.
It appears the mutant fight has just shifted in our favor.
There wouldn't have to be a fight if you weren't being assholes. Just saying. Get out of the way.
Let's start with a little more subtle approach, shall we?
Fact is, Wolverine can't pay you. He doesn't have money, as far as I'm aware. I think he's just pulling his leg, as they say. Sometimes you need a different approach. I like that he's, like, showing, hey, hold on, don't break everything.
Name's Boulevard Trask. Gadget man.
Oh, Trask.
It's Senator Kelly who wanted the collar.
Wow.
Trask.
Strategy for stealing the collar back. Then you give me the collar, and I convince my friend to leave you in one piece.
He's pissed.
Get away from my car!
Yeah, you're an idiot. Did you not see it glowing? It's like, yeah.
And once again, the prize is money.
What?
It seemed like a good time to renegotiate our agreement, no?
Okay. Yep, there you go. There you go. Thing is, though, is that Wolverine's already fought one of these. Jesus. He's a running. He's a running. What now?
What are you waiting for? Drop that thing.
No problem. Just give me the collar.
What? Are you out of your mind?
No.
The collar, please.
Exactly. Tricked him. Smart. Smart, smart, smart. Okay. My word.
Need better locks.
Wow. Wow. There you have it, guys. Okay. Thankfully, it was not a red herring. It wasn't a trick. It was a Gambit-centric episode. Pretty damn good. The voice actor did a really good job with Gambit, in my opinion. I think he sounded kind of close to the Gambit voice from X-Men the Animated Series from the 90s. I noticed that a little bit as he was talking. I'm like, I can hear it. I don't know if it's the same guy. I doubt it, but still pretty good. So the opening scene with this girl running, and there's like lava or some sort of like something under her feet. I'm like, what is going on? And then the slow reveal that she's some sort of like fire lava girl mutant. I'm not really sure, but like she's being chased, of course. And they're chasing her to a public area, which Wolverine brings up a little bit later in terms of why they did it. And I like that point, but I'll bring it up in a second. But we see the slow transformation of what she really is, and she's like freaking out. And she's like clearly not controlling her powers. Like she doesn't know how to, it seems. So Wolverine throws that device on her neck, and we've never seen that before in the show yet. From what I remember, I don't remember ever seeing it before now. Kind of wish they would have introduced it sooner, but it makes sense in terms of the plot of this episode. He uses it, and it like basically halts her powers or whatever for a little bit, but apparently you can't wear it for long because it has some bad effects or something bad might happen. I'm not sure what, but they were non-specific on what it is. I'm guessing it would really hurt you or something, but so she had to wear it to calm her down, and I'm not sure how he got her out of there, but I mean, there's all those explosions and stuff, and she was going crazy because she couldn't control her powers, but she was being chased, and yet she was able to get out. I'm not really sure with him, but she was able to fly back to Brazil, I think, so not really sure, but there's this woman who's working with the senator, who's been saying all this stuff, and the Prowlers and the Sentinels, all that kind of stuff, working with Boulevard Trask, who I introduced to in this episode. She wants that device, and she's with the Thieves Guild, and they're all laughing, saying, you want us to steal from the X-Men? That is not going to happen. And Gambit's like, I'll do it. And what I think was really smart about that is that we see him for that brief little moment there saying, I'll do it. I got you. And then when he actually goes to steal it, we don't see him breaking in. We have this like montage section of moments where we see the different X-Men in the mansion getting ready for bed, and Wolverine's the only one not getting ready for bed at that moment. We don't see it. Like, as everyone's getting ready for bed and doing their little rituals, I guess, before they go to sleep, he's down there with Charles, who's still, of course, in the coma, and he's talking to him, saying, there's all these mutants that I wish I could help, and I can't help them like you did. And I think that was a very, like, you know, kind of a sad moment, because he feels like he's not up to the task that Professor X has given him, because it was at the end of Hindsight Part 3 when it's a floating Charles Xavier head over the body, and he's woken up 20 years in the future, and he's saying that, Wolverine, you have to lead them, you know? It's like, Jesus, okay. And he's pretty much saying, I don't think I can. I can't help them the way you could. Basically saying, you know, I'm doing as much as I can, because he saved that girl. He saved her life from being taken away, but, you know, at the same time, it's like, what else can he do? Because Professor X had this way of talking. He had, and I mean, you saw how before the explosion and everything in the beginning of the show, where all these kids, all these mutants, he had a way to communicate and to talk with them. And in this instance, Professor X is like, not Professor X, Wolverine is saying, I can't do the same thing as you. I'm not that same way. I just can't. So that was pretty emotional. So we see Gambit break in. We don't see it. We see the aftermath of it, because we see all the things, how he got in, security system, the elevator, that like bar thing, and then of course he gets the device, and then Wolverine's like, Wolverine catches him, like he's on the hunt. He is angry. He finds him. He's like, I'll pay you double. Of course, you don't have money, Logan. I don't think you can pay him double. You just said that just to help you get to the collar, because that's important, because he's like, you sold your kind out for a little amount of money, and Gambit's like, no, for a lot of money. I sold my own kind out for a lot of money. That was pretty funny. A little moment there. He's like, no, it was actually a lot of money, and then Wolverine throws the money in. It's a good moment. So they get to the actual warehouse where they're building the Sentinels and Boulevard Trask, and like, Boulevard Trask, it kind of makes sense. It didn't connect. I'm like thinking, oh, they're building a Sentinel program, all this kind of stuff. They have this task force or whatever against mutants. I didn't think Boulevard Trask. I don't know why it just didn't connect, but I would assume at some point maybe they would tie that in, and they do. I didn't expect that was him, but okay. It was a good reveal, though, for Wolverine to say it, not for this woman that we were following a little bit who was wanting the device and got it from Gambit. I'm glad that it was Wolverine who said it. Gambit's tricky. He's sneaky. He's sly. I like how he found different approaches to break into that building instead of Wolverine just breaking into everything, because that's what he wanted. He just wanted to go through the front door. And he just wanted to break the glass. And Gambit's like, no. Let's go from the top. Let me touch this. We're going to drop down. And then we're going to go through the door. But we're not going to break the door. I'm going to mess with the security system. Then we'll go through. So that big action sequence, of course, with Boulevard Trask and these Sentinel prowlers or whatever. And, of course, Wolverine. I like how he's fought one before. I think it was Hindsight Part 2 when it went after Rogue. Yeah, it was Part 2. He went after Rogue. Or no, he went, not he. The Sentinel Prowler went after Rogue. And then Wolverine took out the device by just scratching the hell out of it, like stabbing it like crazy. And in this instance, he, like, the one that he stands on top of, just like the one he did in episode 2, Hindsight Part 2, he's knocking out 3 legs, and then it shoots itself with its scorpion tail, like, you know, attachment with, like, lasers, and it destroys itself. Thought that was really, really cool. Like, oh, that's a very different way of doing it, because he's already done it this other way. So they went another direction with that. And then they're both getting attacked by that same Sentinel Prowler, and Gambit's like, no, give me the device. Like, no, he's going to trick him. Hey there. So, she's getting all rowdy up. It's almost time for Mom to get home, my wife, the ghost. So, anyways, I'm going to continue here. Realize what you're doing. He's like, give me the device. And then Wolverine, of course, throws the case. I'm like, he didn't check it. So clearly Wolverine tricked him. And I like how we hear all the sound of what's going on in the actual fight. I know you weren't watching it, so you didn't know what happened. But he shows up and he throws it on the table in front of them as they're eating breakfast and goes, we need better security. We need a better security system, because he literally looked like hell But of course, he survived everything. I'm guessing, yeah, pretty brutal, but he probably healed up and everything. But Gambit just like laughed it off. He's like, he was mad at first. He's like, I got tricked. That makes sense though, because Wolverine, I mean, he had the last laugh essentially. He was able to succeed at the end of the day. He's like, he just hid it somewhere else and just gave him the case. Like, I don't need the case to hold it. I mean, it protects it, but still, I don't need it. But it was a really fun episode. I don't know. I kind of at one point thinking, is Gambit gonna like show that he's kind of a good guy? And because when you think of the X-Men, Gambit is one of the, you know, not one of the leaders, one of the members. So I'm thinking, is Gambit gonna become a member, or is he gonna maybe like want to stick around? Not the case at all. He just walks off and everything, and then Wolverine just shows up and they're all eating breakfast. I like how nobody else. I don't think they figured out what was happening, because I think it all happened in that night. While they were all sleeping, Wolverine figured out what was going on. He hunted down Gambit and everything. So they just woke up and not realizing what happened. So that was pretty funny. But overall, I enjoyed the episode. I thought it was pretty interesting, and I like the fact that it subverted my expectation in terms of, I'm glad that I was thinking, oh, Gambit's going to join or whatever. He might become a member, and it turns out, no, he just walks away and he's just like laughing it off. But maybe he might, hopefully we run into him again before the end of the show, which is literally in one season. Like, it's the only season, so it sucks. But anyways, guys, I'm going to go, and hope you guys enjoy my reaction, and thank you so much for cameoing in my video. Talk to you guys soon. Peace out.